Colossians 1, verse 17. And he is before all things, and in him all things hold together. This was part of one of our readings this morning, and is something that every time I hear it, I remember how profound of a sentence that actually is. In the middle of talking about how God has delivered us, how he is over everything, we get he was before all things, and in him all things hold together. God is the Alpha and the Omega. He's the bookends of our experience, and through him, everything is created. I don't want to say he's the beginning and end of creation, because God has created it, and he bookends our time, not everything that has ever existed. He is existence. And every now and then in my life, something happens and it reminds me that, oh yeah, we are made in God's image, and we reflect God around us, and through every situation in our lives, we can learn something about God. Something about God can be revealed to us. I love being a human and getting to experience things as one. We have more capacity for knowledge and love and emotion than we know of in any other animal. And that experience of ours reveals God to us in unique ways that reading just can't. And so, I'm going to explain to you a fun little thing that's happened in my life in the last couple of weeks, and the ways that I have seen God or realized things about God in that. And hopefully, that'll help you to see experiences in your life and look at them through that light, or cause you to realize things that you already knew, because that's what a lot of it is. Life is constantly changing. To deal with change well is the definition of maturity, and I don't think any of us are actually as mature as we'd want to believe. We don't really like it when it changes, and we like to fool ourselves into thinking that this is the way that it would always be, whether that's a good or a bad thing. If you've ever had a cold that's slightly worse than you expect, you're just like, oh, will this ever end? It feels like this is going to go on forever. Or something fantastic happens in your life, and you're, man, I wish this would never ever change. I want it to feel this great forever. There is an entire musical about that premise by the name of Hadestown, which is very anecdotal of me. In the very beginning of the musical, someone says to another character, say that we'll be this way forever. Say that this is exactly how it will be. And that character makes a bunch of promises, and then throughout the entire musical, you watch them fall to pieces. And then at the end, it's a whole rebuilding of, I can't say that nothing will ever change, but I can say that I will do my best to support you in that. And it's a really lovely moment. We don't like change, and things feel weird, but change is constant. We are changing as people. Everyone we know is changing. The weather changes, but Jesus is our constant. He is the same yesterday as he is today, as he will be tomorrow. 2 weeks and 2 days ago, I got out my wisdom teeth, all 4 of them. It was a bit of an ordeal. I looked like I had been attacked by many, many bees, and I did in fact get bruising. As you can see currently, it's gone, yay me. But it was a bit of an experience. I had my top 2, we didn't actually ever think I originally had, because they were up so high that they were in my sinuses, so we didn't see them until I did a full head x-ray, and so they had to get those out. And then the bottom ones were growing forward and pushing all of my other teeth, and I was told that that should never be a problem. They had scanned them last year and they went, nah, you'll be fine. You're 23, they haven't moved, they should have moved by now. This is how it will stay, you'll be fine. It wasn't. During vet care, nice and busy working many, many hours every day, I start getting pain in the bottom right of my jaw, and I was like, okay, I've had this pain pop up before, it's appeared, and it'll go away. It will leave, it'll be fine. It didn't. I went to the dentist, and he went, oh yeah, those need to come out now. I'm going to give you antibiotics and cut a hole in your gum to release the pressure, and we'll get those out nice and soon. I was like, great. Change has been thrust upon me in a way that I don't really want to have to deal with. I stand before you, fine, so you know that it went well, but oh boy, was I a little bit stressed about it. But here are the things that happened in that journey. My lovely parents, my mouth doesn't open as wide as it normally does, and I catch my word because, wisdom teeth. My lovely parents are on the other side of the world at the moment celebrating my mum's 50th with her family. She's Scottish, they're over there, they're having a lovely time. I'm sure she's either watching this now or will watch it later and go, oh, Lauren's making it sound like I'm a bad mum. She's not. They're over on the other side of the world. I needed to get my wisdom teeth out as soon as possible, and they weren't here for it. The people that I have grown up trusting, the people that, would drive you to a situation like that, the people that, you'd be like, oh, I'm not feeling well and I trust you completely and fully, were not there. Which meant that I was faced with a bit of a conundrum, because then I had to pick people to be the people that dealt with me while I was under anesthesia, to drive me to and from the surgery, and also to make calls if something went really, really wrong, because we weren't sure if I was allergic to anesthesia or not, and that's a whole different kettle of fish. And so I looked at all of the wonderful people in my life, and I went, oh, this is a bit of a choice that I need to make, and I don't really want to thrust something upon someone that they're not ready for. It feels a bit mean to go to one of my very good friends, who would have if I had asked, and go, hey, can you please take the day off work to drive me to an appointment, deal with me while I'm loopy, and potentially get a phone call saying, hey, Lauren's gone into anaphylaxis. That seemed a bit harsh. So who do you look for when you're in that situation, away from the people that you expect to be there? What are the characteristics that you look for? I was like, I need someone that I trust to be fair to me if I am unwell, someone who I trust to look after me if I am feeling a bit whacked out after the procedure, to be gentle with me if I start to panic. I need someone who will be calm and collected in a stressful situation should something go wrong. And most of all, I need someone who won't resent being there or try and hold it over my head in years to come. And this is where you start to look at the character of God. All of these things that we are to each other, all of these things that we can show each other in our best moments, are things that God already implicitly is. These are the things that we search for: the truth, the good, the reliance. Eventually, I managed to pick someone who would take time off work and be there for it. I would have picked my lovely siblings, but they had uni intensives and whatnot and just genuinely couldn't be there. It's not bad on them. They just had to get those things done. And it all went okay. After the surgery, I was sore. My mouth hurt. I couldn't open it very wide. I wasn't loopy. There aren't really any fun stories from it, which disappointed many, many people. But after the surgery, you just feel kind of iffy. If you've had your wisdom teeth out before, if you've been under general anesthetic, you know that your body feels kind of heavy. You don't feel quite with it when you're coming out of the anesthetic. And it just, you think everything should be fine, everything's moving, but something's just kind of foggy. And in that time, and for me that lasted a couple days after the fact, thank you to some very heavy pain medication, where I just didn't know what to do. I was like, I feel like I'm meant to be doing something, but I don't know what that is. And my lovely person who was looking after me in this time was very, very good at being like, hey, you're recovering from surgery. Just take a step back. Hey, we're going to sit on a couch here. Make sure you stay on top of your pain meds so that you're not in pain and making it worse than it needs to be. No, we're not going to go and spend 5 hours at your friend's birthday party because it's their birthday party and you want to be there. We're going to go spend a couple hours and then you're going to come home and rest because you need to recover. Things in my life were changing and I wasn't ready for it. I was in the midst of something needed to be changed. My wisdom teeth were taken from me. That had changed. And now I was recovering. And because I was recovering, I was sore, but desperate for things to become normal again. And this person steps in and goes, hey, you just need to remember to be gentle with yourself because you are recovering from a change. That change is good, but recovering from it is still going to hurt. It's something that I forget a little too easily. When things in our life change, they pause our life in a weird way. Change is not a bad thing, but it is almost always a painful thing in one way or another. We are not used to the way that things will all of a sudden be different. It pauses our plans, it's scary, it causes us a bit of pain, and we, like it or not, have to step back and allow ourselves to heal before we can push forward, because otherwise we aggravate it further. I had a moment the morning after surgery. I woke up, I walked past my mirror and I went, who is that? Because that's not what my face looks like. In the midst of change, we don't really recognize ourselves. And it can be really hard to know if that's what we expect or not, and if we'll ever return to the way that we expect ourselves to be or the person that we know. I can now say to you, 2 weeks after the fact, that I do recognize myself in the mirror. No, I didn't stay that way. I am still the same person, and I am better off, which is excellent. And that is the way that it is with God. We always end up better before than after when we change with God. I have and am still in the process of healing. I can't really eat solids yet. So much food is more solid than you would expect. This brings me to another point of mine. It talks a lot in the Bible about the things that we know. We have faith like a child and we are maturing in our faith, and that is a good thing to do. There is a particular passage that talks about us being on spiritual milk, not yet ready for solids. And in the last 2 weeks, oh boy, have I understood what that has meant. A lot of drinking liquids, a lot of having very, very soft food, and being like, I can see the solid thing. I would love to eat the solid thing. I'm gonna try. Oh, that was a terrible mistake. That hurts so much, and now I have to take a day off to recover. As we mature and grow, as we heal, the things that we see and go, man, I wish I could handle that better, we can. But it is a stepping process to get there. God doesn't tell us that there are things out there that we can't handle yet because he's trying to keep them from us. He doesn't tell us that because he's like, no, I don't think you have the capacity. You can. You're just not there quite yet. You're still healing from things. You're still growing through things. God cares for us through all of our situations, through all of the changes in our life. God is all around. In pain, in change, when something needs to be taken out of our lives, or we recognize it and go, oh, I need to separate myself from that. We find people around us who are gentle with us, people who we trust and tell, and they go, oh, you are going through a change, and I will need to help you. I will need to support you so you can walk down the stairs properly. I will need to make sure that I'm helping explain your emotions to you because you're not quite sure what's going on yet. But then it comes to the healing part, and they push you to get better because you can't always remain in the you're in pain and I'm going to baby you state. You get pushed as well. God sees us, all of us, and in our change, he is gentle with us. When we are in pain, he doesn't stand above us and yell at us for not doing well or demand that we get better sooner. We meet a loving God. And that love doesn't leave when it's time for us to heal and keep walking, but it just is displayed different. It pushes us to try more things. If you've ever been unwell and you've been on the couch for 3 days because you're not sick, and then you have to go to work the next day, and you're like, oh, actually, I feel so much better. It's not necessarily because overnight you healed, but you had healed to the point where you could now manage things. And doing that actually helps you realize how competent you can be. He is our refuge and strength, a present help in times of trouble. In the psalm that we read this morning, it says, we will not fear though the earth gives way, though the mountains are moved into the heart of the sea. He does not change, and he is our refuge. And the people around us that he has given us can be our refuge as well. People that we lean on, people that show us who God is in those hard times. we remember what God has done for us, the resurrection, and that we are redeemed from this truly dark moment, this moment where God abandoned everything to save us. Love sees us in our pain, in our changing, in our dark moment, and reaches in. And it would be foolish for us to believe that it didn't. Everything changes but God. And God is shown through all of these situations. And I think that that's pretty incredible, to be able to go through something as mundane as getting wisdom teeth taken out and be able to realize God's character. And it's through coming to church and knowing the Bible and knowing the Word that when these situations appear, God is reflected all the more brighter and these things come to light. And so I encourage you in your weeks to continue to think on that point of, oh, something weird has happened. Is there anything in the Bible that lines up with this? What could I be learning about God's character because of the people around me, or because of this thing that I didn't expect to go through? Because he is there. He is before all things, and in him all things hold together.